Hey guys, it's Laura. So, I wanted to come on briefly and do a quick disclaimer. This episode is a little bit more heavy hitting than our previous three episodes, and I wanted to make sure that I come on and address it before we start kind of getting into it. We touch on the hyperfixation, and then we also touch on some of the blurred lines that people have created within the fandom, which have resulted in some toxicity. I want to make sure that I address that we recognize that a hyperfixation and the toxicity we are speaking of in this episode are not synonymous. And I can speak on this having been diagnosed with ADHD, and another one of us has also been diagnosed with ADHD. We've all experienced some type of hyperfixation prior to this fandom, and we understand that one thing that we talk about does not equal the other, right? So a hyperfixation does not mean that you are toxic within a fandom. What I do want to make sure that we are addressing within this podcast is that there are those people, and there will be those people who chalk up the blurred lines and their toxic decisions to their hyperfixation, and that's just not the way hyperfixations work. A hyperfixation is something that helps you get through the day sometimes when you're going through difficult things. And so, yeah, I mean, if you would like to talk to any of us about your hyperfixation, we are here for you. We want to make sure that this remains a safe space for you, our listener, because this is a safe space for us, and we are doing this for everybody. So, yeah, give it a listen. We hope you like it. Send us an email to the Quinn-tessentials podcast at gmail.com. That's the Quinn-tessentials podcast at gmail.com. Quinn-tessentials spelled with two N's and an S at the end. I hope you enjoy this episode. It really has been so much fun doing this with and for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into episode 4 with our first guest. Can you believe it? Oh my God.
Do we all have brown eyes?
My mummy used to say I had little chocolate buttons.
Little chocolate
buttons.
Just perfect.
I'm ready, love.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome. So, you guys, we're so excited you're back. Episode 4. We haven't named it yet. But it's going to be a good one. And you know why? You know why it's going to be a good one?
Why?
Tell us.
Because we got 4 people on episode 4.
What?
Quattro.
Yep.
Wow.
You guessed it. We have a guest star today. It's gonna be amazing. But first and foremost, sorry, by the way, if you can hear my dog, I am so sorry.
She's actually our 4th guest.
She has not taken a poop yet this evening. And
She's like, I gotta poop.
She's like, let me shit. Anyway, this week was a good week for the fandom.
Oh yeah, my God.
I'm full. Because I got fed so much.
We are full, but guess what? There's always room for dessert. So Wonderland Magazine, if you're inclined to drop another one before you drop the article, please do. Okay? They've gotten him to talk about a lot.
Yeah.
A lot, it seems like. They got him to talk about dating.
Why do we say it like it's a secret?
Because, like, it's such a weird concept for me to hear him talk about dating because he's such a private person. Like, he's always presented himself in such a private manner. And then this magazine's like, you know, what do you think about Hinge? And he's like, fuck that. It's a horrible app.
Well, I feel like he's looking for something very serious, and if he was trying to find just like a temporary partner, someone for the evening, you know, those days might be behind him. He might just actually be trying to look for something like serious. So
I want to read a little bit off the quotes that Wonderland Magazine put out there. This is probably my favorite quote. Olivia Colman said to me once, to have an extraordinary career, you need to have an ordinary home life. I mean, she didn't say you need to, but it helps. She has a very lovely family. She's been with her partner since uni, which is university. I feel like the English always say uni.
Yeah.
Anyways, neither here nor there. She has 3 lovely kids, an extraordinary career, and is an extraordinary person. There is a phrase that is rallied around the business: take your work seriously, but never yourself. That is something that I hold on to. So much of it is about managing your life and making your life as simple as possible, so that when you're given an opportunity eventually to go and make something crazy with crazy people, you feel like you can. I think it's about setting down roots, and that is what, in my next 10 years, I want to do. I think I want to lay down the foundation of some roots.
I hope you get that, baby.
I hope he gets it. But let me tell you something. That alone, I think what he said, and I want to read it again, because it's so true. It's really made me think about my own life. So much of it is about managing your life and making your life as simple as possible, so that when you're given the opportunity to eventually go and make crazy things with crazy people, you feel like you can. And that is the most incredible way of looking at it. He's saying, have an ordinary life so you can have these ordinary experiences. Because if you don't have an ordinary home life, you're going to be bogged down by those things. Literally, the world went nuts over that quote, because it's so good.
Yeah.
But it makes perfect sense, because if there's no chaos,
make my life super ordinary.
But maybe that says a lot about like how he was able to really handle the madness of the past 4 months. He made his life super simple, to where if there's any sort of chaos, he's like, okay, we're diving in.
We're doing it. And I love that. By the way, I'm not getting rid of my pets. I love my pets. Just for the sake of, I love my pets.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. That's such a good point to bring up. And I mean, this Wonderland magazine has like released, quotes here and there about it. But I think that's the one that stood out to me the most. And then the other part of it was that they got him to talk about dating. And one of the things he talked about was like how the app Hinge is just not at all what he wanted to. It's not something that he's into or whatever. And he talked about how those apps are just a reminder that people are just very easily dispensable.
Right.
And it's, such a good point to bring up.
And he knows deep down that's not true. He honors people like 100% and loves people interaction. He's a very social guy, Sorry.
I have another snippet from the article, which I thought was super. It talks about his guitar skills and everything.
Yes.
He stated, so do you want me to read the whole thing? Because I have it.
Yeah, please do.
It says, well, I say that I am a guitarist loosely. I don't play in any bands or anything like that. I was in a band when I was a kid, and I loved it. My guitar just gathers dust now, but I should be playing more. I started playing again for the show because I had to. It's a good part of my life, but I'm nowhere near as good as I used to be, which is always demoralizing. Before I mentioned to him that in his most recent gig racked up history-making views, he suggested that he might not be as rusty as he thinks that he is. He goes, maybe, but I could always be better.
That's amazing.
Like, if there's one thing about Joe, is you will find he can never take a compliment, and he always covers it up with, I can do better. You're doing great. Like, just remember that.
Great.
You're doing so good. But one part of the article that I'm really looking forward to reading is he said his affinity with 90s hip-hop. Like, can you imagine just a dance party with Joe and just bopping all the best 90s hip-hop songs?
Imagine if he could
that would be the
dance
best
to them.
night of my life. We've seen his dance moves.
Like,
I think that he
like get down on the dance floor to like some Fresh Prince, like
yes,
some Public Enemy. Let's go.
I love that. Like, if that can be a thing that we get a glimpse into, sign me up, because I would buy tickets for that.
Another thing that he said was, and I can't find exactly the blurb where he talked about it, but he was talking about the fandom and the fact that these people connected with Eddie and that the only reason they've connected with him is because of Eddie. And he gave the most humble response to a question. I don't know what the question was, and I can't find it right now, but this man still, to this day, I guess, according to what I read, believes that the only reason he has this fandom and is able to maintain his fandom, that's the difference. Sure, it might have started because of Eddie, but he's held on to his fans and his fandom because of who he is as a person. I mean, let's be honest, we didn't start this podcast because of Eddie Munson.
Right.
I mean, Shannon hadn't even seen Stranger Things when we talked about, starting this podcast.
Well, I
So
saw Stranger Things,
for
just not season 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
She hadn't seen season 4. I mean, for one, I can't wait for the rest of this article to come out. And yeah, I'm just so proud. I'm so proud of him. I hope he gets all the awards and all the accolades, and he gets everything he's ever wanted. God, every time he says something, I'm like, wow, I like him even more than I did. And I'm waiting for him to say something that I don't like, and it just does not happen.
I hope they ask him about his acting, because he seems very, of course, humble about it. He's not giving any sort of like, oh, well, this is the mindset I get into when I do this. Because the most you get out of him when they're like, oh, how did you prepare for Eddie? I played a lot of guitar and I practiced my American accent, and I was just like, there was way more diving.
He did say, and that's so interesting that you mentioned that, because he did say that he had extra time to sit with the character and prepare for the character,
right,
because of the pandemic,
right.
And
was he watching old footage of old 80s bands and like how they act? Because they all act like Eddie. They're like little kids.
Right.
Like that's literally how 80s rock stars are. And that, like, I feel like he's a goddamn rock star.
He's a goddamn rock star. Rock star.
Do you guys think that Eddie would be any different if we didn't have the pandemic?
Whoa.
I don't even want to think about that. I'm going to be upset.
I feel like it would still be amazing regardless because of the type of actor that he is. But like you said, Laura, he had a huge amount of time to sit with that character.
Right.
And even if he brushes it off and says, oh no, I didn't do any research, I didn't do this, I just put on an American accent and worked on that and brushed up on my guitar skills. No.
Yeah, but he has this like almost like emotional connection to this character, and he even said, to date, he's the most well-written, beautiful character he's ever played, and though that comes from him, and I mean, I cannot, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I can't wait to see what else
so
he
excited.
adds to his resume about his performances and what other interviews he does, and hopefully one day, guys, we'll be one of them.
We just have to keep track of what they ask him and just be like, okay, no repeats. We have to ask him new shit, or to elaborate on things he didn't elaborate on.
One very special question that I don't think anybody's asked him yet.
What's your Vecna song?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Oh, I stole your thunder. I'm so sorry.
No, it's so true. No, you
sorry.
fucking nailed it. That's amazing. No, it's exactly what I was gonna say. So like, if Vecna was coming to get
stuck
you,
in the
what would be your
upside down.
He'd be like, I'm logging off.
Every time they ask him that question, he's like, here we go. He looks so annoyed. So I kind of want to switch gears and kind of map up, kind of talk about a little bit of the episode we're going to go into, and this very exciting thing. We have our first guest.
Yes! Everybody get up. It's time to jam now.
Okay.
This woman has literally made it her mission to hold people accountable for the toxicity of the fandom, for stalking him, for doxing him, for putting his Raya account out there. She does not hold back. And we love that here. And again, and you'll see in the interview that we had with her in the conversation how we've talked about people saying, oh, he's a 30-year-old man, he can defend himself. You'll see what we have to say about that, because this past week we even encountered a lot of that. You know, I can't wait to see what she comes up with next. How did you guys feel about it?
I loved every second of it. I am obsessed with her, and I love what she stands for. And I hope that she keeps doing what she's doing, because at the end of the day, there are people out there that need to be put in their place. And she does not hold back. And I just want her to keep doing what she's doing, because she is a strong presence in this fandom, and we need more people like her.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Shannon?
She's so well spoken. She knows what she's talking about. So she's just like, yeah, Joe's cute. Like, I don't think she's as far down into the hyperfixation as we are, but I think she does care and understand like where we're coming from and where other people are coming from, and can relate because of the Harry Styles fandom, that she's like, I've seen this shit before. Let's say something, you know. So, but yeah, she makes a lot of great points and says a lot of good stuff. So,
yeah.
And you bring up a really good point about a hyperfixation, and that's ultimately what this episode is about. I mean, let's be honest about it. A hyperfixation is something that doesn't last forever, but it lasts enough time to make a difference for you. It lasts enough time to make an imprint.
I've actually looked into hyperfixation quite a bit since Joe came into my life, because it's been a second since I've had somebody this far deep in my brain hole. But just to kind of put it into perspective for people that haven't really looked too far into it, hyperfixation happens when you're completely engrossed by something to the point where it becomes all-consuming and disrupts your day-to-day functioning. It gets hard to focus on anything other than that object of your fixation, and you can become hyperfixated on a hobby, interest, person, place. So it can literally be anything.
Wow.
And that's kind of what we're touching on today, the whole realm of hyperfixation, the mental of it. And so that's the drive we're taking today. So come with us.
And there's such a thin line between the hyperfixation and then whenever you have a hyperfixation with a person, the line is so blurred from, you know, getting into toxicity and, you know, overstepping certain boundaries. Like, it's one thing to be hyperfixated on somebody, but it's another thing to dive into it. And I know that this is supposed to be an easy, fun podcast, and it absolutely is, but we gotta address the big fat elephant in the room. I mean, last week his entire dating profile was put out without his consent. And granted, like, a lot of people out there, you know, came out and said, hey, this is not okay. And that's the kind of energy that we need. That is the kind, there was articles put out because people were saying this is wrong. But you can be hyper fixated on someone like we are, you know, and respect certain boundaries, because a hyper fixation is, I'm hyper fixated on Joe, right? So I can't speak for everybody, but I'll speak for myself, and you guys tell me if you agree. My hyper fixation with Joseph is my problem. Mine to deal with, period. I don't need to make his life or anything like that more difficult because I have, you know, because I'm consumed by his performances or his interviews or anything like that.
Right.
That's my problem. That's why I'm here, you know. And so that's why we have created this friendship, and that's why it works, is because we recognize that. But what I want to know is, who was your first or your most memorable hyperfixation person? Who was your comfort character? Who was your comfort celebrity? Is Joe the first person you're going through this with? Because he is not my first.
No.
Okay.
Hell no.
Danielle, I want to know.
So, listen. I was probably 13 or 14, and the man named Jeremy Sumpner came into my life. He played Peter Pan on the live action that was made in that
2003.
2003, yeah.
Yes.
And this was before like, I still had dial-up
Yes.
internet at my house, okay? So I was buying all the Teen Bop magazines and finding him on TRL, and I was consumed. I left that movie. This man is going to marry me. I love him, and I couldn't see my life without him. And
Yeah.
it's all I talked about. My parents and my sister wasn't old enough yet, but my mom was like, "It's gonna be fine. He's just a crush." No, Mom, it's not just a crush. I eventually grew out of it, and then Friday Night Lights came out, and he had a guest appearance on that show as well, and it just all, I'm like, I forgot about you. But as a grown
Sucked right
woman,
back in.
before,
Yeah.
I loved him. Before Joe happened, though, Sebastian Stan is a huge stan in my heart. I love him. I love everything about him. Bucky, like, and he's the one that's like, "Who are you? Who let you into this house?" And then Joe's like, "It's me, bitch." Like
Oh
that
my God.
TikTok, you know?
I'm the owner of this house.
I'm the owner of this house. So those are,
Oh.
that was my first one though. It rocked me to my core.
Shannon, who was yours?
Orlando Bloom, after Lord of the Rings came out.
Which
And
one?
didn't he?
Lord of the Rings. He was in Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
So he was so young. Yeah. About 2002. So that would make me, I think it was a little later, 2003 or 2004, because I was like 11 or 12. Yeah, I was in love. I was on the message boards. I was making a website about him. I was buying magazines, posters on my wall. I had like 2 or 3 of him. I wrote a fanfic, put it out on the internet, and like
Is
fucking
it still out there?
probably don't look for it.
We should find it.
No, it's awful.
Somebody find it.
I remember it was awful. It's awful.
I found the intro to our next episode, just a little snippet from her fanfic.
No, please. Oh my god.
No.
No, I'm sweating. Don't.
No, please don't. Mine was Jesse McCartney.
Oh, yes. That's
You
so
and your
solid.
beautiful soul.
I don't wanna chase. You're the one I wanna hold. I won't let another minute
And
go
it
to
go
waste.
waste. I want you,
and
your
beautiful
beautiful
soul.
soul.
Okay, so here's the
Oh.
thing. When I moved here from Puerto Rico in 2004, I was like, Puerto Rico has no blonde guys. I love blonde men. Okay, now as an adult, brunettes all the way. Like, they're brunettes or redheads. But anyways, Jesse McCartney entered the chat in 2004 for me. Beautiful Soul, the album came out, and I was in love. And then Summerland, that CW.
Yes.
Yeah, that show
Yes.
came out, and it was like, done.
Game over.
I love this man. I'm obsessed. I had 11 posters of Jesse McCartney in my room. And it wasn't just, mind you, we had just moved here from Puerto Rico. I shared a bedroom with my sister. My sister was into anime. Do you know what it's like for somebody who loves anime to have a bedroom with 11 Jesse McCartney posters? She hated me.
She probably hated
fucking
everything about
hated
that.
I will never forget this. Tiger Beat magazine.
Yes,
Came
that's the
out
name of
with
the
a-
magazine.
Tiger Beat magazine came out with a contest where you had to send in a letter about why you want Jesse McCartney's iPod. And it was like an iPod color. It was like a green iPod color. And it was like his like music was on there and stuff that he was listening to. And I was like, I want Jesse McCartney's iPod because I think he's such a talented actor. As an adult, love you, Jesse McCartney. You're amazing. You are not a talented actor.
Oh my god, that movie
Sorry, I'm
Chernobyl, terrible. He spent in a van with a wound to his stomach. Like, it wasn't great, Shannon.
Yes!
Like,
Bro, oh
bless
my
him
God.
and his work, but don't watch it. It's not great.
Anyways, Jesse McCartney was my person. Again, I grew out of that. I went into the Twilight craze. Robert Pattinson had my whole ass heart. And I don't think I've come back from British actor hyperfixation since then. I went into Robert Pattinson, and then I went into Tom Hiddleston, and then I went into Henry Cavill, and now
Here we are.
here we are.
Kit Harington,
Oh, Kit Harington.
Game of Thrones, big
They're
one.
the same, bro.
Big
Their
one.
eyes.
Yeah.
Kit Harington's like puppy dog eyes with, Joe's chocolate button eyes. They're the same.
Except Joe
They're
doesn't look like sad all the time. Kit does. Kit looks like he's
Like a lost puppy.
yeah, he looks really sad all the time.
Sad Sam. Anyways, let's bring it back in. Let's get into the segment with Sam. I'm so excited. And go.
Hi.
It's so funny. It's so weird because we're doing like the introduction. We're doing like the guest segment first, and then we're gonna do like the opening and closing at a different time because we're so excited. So we're like, hey, how's it going? And anyways, we have taken a bit of time trying to figure out who we wanted to be our first guest on the show, right?
Yeah.
And then I think maybe like about a month ago, not even a month ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago, we all like at the same time stumbled upon this TikToker. And I mean, her content was just amazing. And, I think she touched on something that was so important and about the toxicity of the fandom and how crazy it had gotten. And yeah, I mean, Danielle, what was your experience?
Well, when I first came across this TikToker, immediately was drawn into her because she was hitting hard-hitting topics, addressing the fans, the fandom, and I immediately went to our group chat and said, ladies, have you heard of this person before? Have you seen, and all of you had seen videos of her.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I said, we should ask her to be on our podcast. She would be perfect because we have episode that is directly correlating with what she stands for. And so
Yeah. It was
That was
such an
my-
easy decision. So we want her to turn on her camera now. We have Sam Lewis.
Hey! Hi! Nice to see you!
Oh, I can't hear you, Sam. Is your audio on?
Oh, she's trying to turn her mic back on.
Oh, you goofies. Hi.
Hey.
Hi!
Oh my
Hello.
God. Thank you so much for doing this. This is like so exciting for us. You're the perfect first guest.
It's an honor, honestly. When you guys first messaged me, by the way, I automatically I was at work when you guys messaged me asking me to be on your podcast, and I automatically threw my phone because I was like, oh my god. I was like, okay. I was freaked out because I was like, oh my god, this is the first time and everything like that. So I just really want to say thank you guys so much for having me on. This is really, I really wanted to do for my first I think we talked about this yesterday, podcast, Cherry. You guys really this is it.
Oh.
We're just glad to be the ones to pop.
Exactly. Consensually, of course.
I mean, this is so exciting. We love your content, obviously, and it was such an easy decision to have you be the first one on the show. But yeah, I want you to kind of talk a little bit about what you do and what kind of got you to take off, and a little bit of that.
Okay, yeah. My name's Sam. 23, Aquarius. I don't know why that matters, but
So is Joe, apparently.
Oh my god.
So is Joe, apparently.
January 30th specifically. But yeah, I made a video basically apologizing to Joseph Quinn, just saying, Joseph, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I just put it up there. And obviously a lot of people didn't understand the context of it, which I totally understand. And yeah, nothing happened for the first couple of days, and next thing you know, I go to work and it was 99 plus, and I was like, I wasn't even a happy, oh my god, yes, and I was like, oh no, this was the worst thing for me to happen. But yeah, I really post videos on I'm very realistic about specific things, I kind of come about it either an optimistic point of view and like kind of just tell people how it is, and that's how I've always been. And a lot of people have, like, surprisingly, I thought I was gonna get my whole entire channel taken down, but like I really just spoke from like, from my experiences and from my, like I was just so sick and tired of seeing a lot of like awful stuff happening, especially with the Eddie Munson and Joseph Quinn fandom, that I was just like, look, I'm just gonna put my 2 cents in this, and whether my catchphrase would have been like, oh, I'm gonna be a bitch, and if you get offended by it, it's not my fucking problem, and that's really my staple, and that's how I feel about it. But yeah, that's really about me, essentially.
I think that the timing of when your page came up was exactly around that time when things got so out of hand while he was in Italy, right?
Yeah.
I think that's probably,
Things were getting wild. They were getting absolutely wild for that poor man.
Yeah. If I may add, the reason why I made those videos is obviously it's very common knowledge that people are gonna date, people are gonna have relationships and everything like that. And even if you're a celebrity, I think that it's very, I don't want my business to be out in the air, so it's just like, it's not fair for them to have their stuff out in the air, you know what I mean? And especially with the whole entire mystery girl thing, and already, which is so crazy to me that they already did like the whole entire death threats and everything like that when it happened. I know.
Was it the girl with the skirt, with the blue? She was so cute, and I feel like everybody went absolutely crazy, and I mean, it's his personal life. Like, it's so mind-boggling that somebody has to go online and be like, give the man some fucking privacy. What are you doing?
I always tell people, if you do not, it's obviously treat others on how you want to be treated and everything like that, but if you do not want your personal stuff, you yourself do not want any of your personal stuff out in the open, why do you think it's fair for you to do it to them? You know what I mean? I think it's super hypocritical, and I think that a lot of people need to learn that it's hypocrisy, basically, and it's very invasive of privacy. It's like having your parents find your diary when you were like 10 years old and them reading it. It's very uncomfortable. It makes you feel insecure about yourself, and it just puts you in this whole entire spiral of just like, wow, I can't have anything for myself privately, for me and what I want to do. Yeah, it's just fucked up, for real.
Yeah.
Well, and I made a video myself on just the situation with some of his information being leaked, and I made a point to say that just because he's become famous does not mean that he loses the right to his privacy.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if my dating profile had to have been leaked, granted I'm only on like Bumble, but still.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm banned from everything.
But I mean, apparently addresses and locations and have all been leaked, and if that was me, I'd be really bummed out. And I just wish people would take a second to think about how that could potentially affect someone, and before posting something, think, do I want to be a good human, or do I want to get some clout? And
right.
90% of the people that have posted, probably 100% of those people, truly were after clout.
Yeah.
And that's not okay.
It's not. And I think the interesting about it is that a lot of people are like, well, he's a 30-year-old man, he can defend himself and blah blah blah. And here's the thing, like, I get that. I get it. He makes his own decisions, whatever. That does not, fame does not remove your, right to privacy, first of all. And second of all, a lot of people are coming after the ones that are trying to defend him and saying, hey, like, he's a 30-year-old man, stop babying him, blah, blah, blah. He is one person, and there are thousands of people out there putting his information out there, invading his privacy and all of those things. So yeah, I think that when people like us, like Danielle, like me, like Shannon, like you, Sam, go online and say, hey, this is wrong, you're wrong for doing this, collectively, it does make a difference. It does create change. And everybody's like, oh, you're babying a 30-year. No, we're not. He is one person.
Yep.
He can't touch every single person that's attacking him, because let's be honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the whole entire thing with that whole entire debacle, I come about it in a very aggressive way, obviously. And the funny thing is that, like, I was just talking to you guys about this yesterday, where I was just like, there's 3 tiers of insults. You're dumb, you're stupid, and you're goofy. And this is where you guys are lining up with, and you guys are just straight up being goofy. I think that, when it comes to these people literally being like, oh, you're babying him and everything like that, it's just like, okay. Because I always do this with everybody. I'm like, put yourself in his position. Put yourself in these type of scenarios and see how it makes you feel. If all of your stuff got leaked out, your dating profile and everything like that. That one, especially with the dating profile, which that's happened to me before, that's why I got so angry about it, which unfortunately that one got taken down. But it's just so... it's really sad.
Yeah.
Because a lot of, and especially with social media and everything like that, like, I guess from what you guys said, that you guys, I'm the youngest one here. These fans specifically, and I don't want to, like, I'm going to put a disclaimer. It's not all of you guys. I already know that. That's not my intention. It's for the specific group of people that ruin it for, like Danielle, Shannon, and Laura. It ruins it for them. And the reason why I stick up for that type of stuff and, like, kind of call all the goofies out is because of the fact that it's just like, I don't want that to happen to me. When I reached 10K on TikTok, I was like, I literally said that I was going to delete my whole entire channel. Saying that for the longest time.
Why is that?
I think because of the fact that when it comes to fame and everything like that, for me, I think that's probably the most scariest thing. And to me, this sounds really sad to say, I just feel like in a way that I don't really deserve it. In a way, I just feel like that I wouldn't hold up to the same standard that I did a long time ago. That I literally said, oh, if I reach 10K, well, that's it. I'm done. That's cool. That's fine. But, it's like I really want to bring myself back to, like, earth and everything like that and try to ground myself, because I'm just like, okay, these people are online, they are supporting me, but if it just gets too much and, like, it's gonna cause me to, like, get super overwhelmed, even with the love and support and everything like that coming from everybody, to me that's overwhelming for me. I was just like, I got really stressed out. I was like, no, stop it.
You're like, people like me, how dare they?
I know, exactly. And I was like, I'm supposed to be the villain in this arc, I don't know what's going on.
I believe the term is vigilante.
I guess. I might as well have the Batman mask on right now, Robert Pattinson style.
I think that just proves a point, though, that because I had a moment, too, on the video where I said, I don't think that I can handle both the good and the bad support of it. And it was constant notifications. A majority of it was very positive, but the small amount of it that was negative, I'm not used to that type of attention. And I'm not big by any means on social media, but it's scary to think where, you could be at 10K, at 1 million. But the ladies told me, look back and look at all the support that you do have behind you. 4 people that are coming after you, you have 400 that will have your back. And so I know that's scary, but you also have a support system to fall back onto, which is super awesome.
And this is for us, right? Like, this is how we're handling it. Imagine, because we are just one small part of a giant fandom that, is about this one guy, this one man that lives on the other side of the planet. And, you know what I mean? Like, he's going through exactly what we're going through a billion times over,
I was gonna say, like, the whole entire thing, and it's like, do I have a crush on him? Yes, absolutely. Do I ever want to meet him? Absolutely not. Because that's how I am. It's not because I don't like him. It's because I do. And I always think, I'm like, okay, I'm 23 years old. I'll be 24 and everything like that. And I remember, like, it was yesterday. Because, like, it wasn't, I watched his stuff before even Stranger Things. It wasn't like I was a huge fan of him. I'm like, oh, he's a really cool actor. Good shit. And, you know, very proud of him, proud of the work that he does. And it's like, the reason why for my videos, the reason why I bring up Harry Styles fans, which that's like a completely different thing, but like the comparisons are there to where how, dare I say, goofy that these fans are, because I could say something else, but I'm going to just say goofy. It's a lot of disrespect. It really is. It's a lot of disrespectful behaviors and everything like that. And I always tell them, and it's always one word that always brings it back, is literally accountability for your shitty behavior. And I always, even for me, I always hold myself up to such a high standard in a way to where I'm like, I fucked up and I'm going to take this to heart. I fucked up. I'm taking accountability for this. I'm going to learn from this, and then I'm going to like do better. And the reason why I made that video of telling these people to do better, because apparently that's just me being a little bully, you know, to tell people to not stalk people, to not invade their privacy, to not, even if Joseph does date somebody, obviously we have to be happy for him. You know, this guy's not going to stay single forever. You know what I mean? That's really
No, I can't believe how like crazy the world, like how crazy the fandom got just because he was walking with one fucking person.
Yep.
The world went crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, especially with the article that's about to come out from Wonderland magazine, where like he's talking about, you know, the dating scene and what it's like for him. I mean, people are gonna go freaking nuts. And
he wants to get settled down within 10 years. He said he wants to find love, have children, and he's almost 30. Why the fuck not? Like he's like, I enjoyed my 20s. I dated. I did whatever he did. You know what I mean? Like, why? Can you imagine like the way he looks at fans? It's going to be times 20 at the woman he loves or whoever he loves. Like, can you imagine seeing pictures of that? He's just going to be like, I would love to see him look at someone like that.
To be on the other side. Woo.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just scared of that man. And if I were to meet him, I would just be like, please just walk away from me. I'm not ready. Just
be like, you're adorable and amazing, but you need to leave.
See my videos with me not all dolled up and everything like that, and like,
I don't think that would even affect him in the slightest. Like, you're terrified, and we're over here manifesting, like, please let us meet Joe. Please let us meet Joe.
Temple frictions.
I always tell people, because it's just like, look, everybody here is a person, and you guys definitely, obviously, because of the fact that you guys made a podcast, because of the fact that you appreciate Joe and all of his characters and what he stands for and the connection you guys have with him, that type of thing and everything like that. I think that it's so refreshing because, like you guys said, it like when watching my videos, I come off as a bitch, and that is 100% facts for sure. And everybody's like, no, you're speaking facts and everything like that. And I'm just like, guys, I'm literally speaking from experience as somebody that was in the Harry Styles fandom. Like, this is like for the Joseph Quinn fandom, it's like the tip of the iceberg compared to all the other fandoms. And it's just insane to think about, you know, and I'm really glad that you guys made this, because if it's going to be going towards all these people and everything like that, you know, changing the way that their behavior is and being like, these girls on these podcasts are saying that I fucked up and everything like that, and I got to recognize that. I think that's definitely, you guys are doing so good, and I'm very proud of you, like, honestly. I really am.
Thank you.
Just out here doing the Lord's work.
We pledge allegiance to the Joe.
We just want it to be, and honestly, I think that and we've talked about this on the first episode, and we talked about this when we were conceptualizing the podcast, but we really do just want it to be like a podcast where we, in the most respectful way, admire and appreciate this person as a performer, as a human, and, you know, as a public figure. And so that's why I think it was such a no-brainer to bring you on, because you very much represent that too, but you do it in the name of accountability. And
yeah, that's always been my favorite word. Yeah. Not a lot of people can accept it. There are younger generations, which I'm pretty young, myself, but I have such an old soul and everything like that. And the reason why I say that, like, I don't want fame, sometimes it happens, and I either can take it and just delete my whole entire channel, or have all of my friends literally tell me, keep doing it, keep doing your work and everything like that. And, you know, and I was just like, because the next video I'll be making, you know, besides you lovely ladies on here, it's going to probably be the most insane, elaborate video that I've ever made, because I'm normally in my car. It's going to be everywhere. Like,
shout out to the Ford
Focus. Shout out to the Ford
I know, RIP the Ford Focus. That one's going to be
to
retired real quick. The red Ford Focus all rusted out because of Michigan and everything like that. Gotta love it. You know, accountability is such a crazy thing. When I was younger, I did not like accountability at all. I did not want to accept the consequences of my actions. I didn't want to get told that I was being a little shit as a child. And even my teen years, I didn't like it. And when I start calling these people out and everything like that, I'm not doing it in the face of, like, because I'm being mean and I want to be mean to other people. I want them to understand that if you can't respect other people, why do you expect them to respect you as a person? You know what I mean? It's just that whole entire thing. That's always what I've stand for, is respect others, even celebrities. And I'm not, you know, do fucking better. Truly, do fucking better when it comes to that type of shit.
And I think, you know, I think that you mentioned something about your friends wanting you to keep going and you wanting to, you know, do something bigger. But the best part I think that you have going for you right now, Sam, is that you have choice. You do have the ability of choosing the direction that your page is going to go. At any given moment, you can say, fuck this, and then dip, you know, and then dip out. And you know, choice is everything. The only thing people want, and you have that at your fingertips, literally. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what you do next. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I think that you do it. And my favorite thing, I have to say, because you just talked about it, but my favorite line was always like, disclaimer, I'm gonna be a bitch. If you don't like it, that's not my problem. Like that, every time you say that, I'm like, yes. I'm like, I can't wait for the next part.
I don't know if I'm gonna make a huge difference, but you
already have.
It feels like it. And I know it's gonna still keep going, and I guess if it does, just gonna still make the same stuff that I do, except it's just gonna continue heightening and everything like that. And eventually, I do want to have those people, the toxic fans, to talk to me one-on-one, to give me their perspective, to give me everything that, I don't like to say wrong with them, but you know, the reason why that they think the way that they think, and the why.
I think that's the ultimate question. You're so right. You know.
Yeah, it's like, why you like this?
Like what goes through your head that makes you think doxing this man is a good idea?
Yeah,
exactly.
What went through your head that made you think that putting his dating profile out there was a good idea?
Or like, what went through your head when you decided that you knew he was in a certain place and you were literally going to stalk him?
When you crawled,
when you
didn't somebody
when you jumped
climb
a fence
over the fence to go to
when
the
you
pool
jumped a fence to go get a picture with this man? Like, did it
There's
ever
a
cross your mind
difference.
that that's a little weird, like a little wild?
There's a line, and that's the thing. It's not really a
Look at
thin line. It's actually like a pretty well defined line that you
It's like a
should not
plank.
cross. It's a whole ass wall that you do not want to jump over. And
Can I say
you know-
also that I feel like they're like, well, you're older, you don't get it. I am diagnosed ADHD. I have had hyperfixations my entire life. This is not my first celebrity crush that has obsessed my brain hole, or a movie or music or whatever it is. I was obsessed with a band for years. I have them tattooed on my leg, or my thigh, whatever. Like, they don't get that that a lot of people get it. It's what helps you go to sleep at night. It helps you get through your day.
Yeah.
It helps you deal with any shit you're going through, and your brain just picks it. I didn't half the shit I like. I didn't. My brain just like, we're gonna like that for a long time.
Yeah.
And but not once. I wrote an Orlando Bloom fan fiction. I was like 13. Did I write a scene of me having sex with him? No. I didn't write a sex scene though. I wrote a beautiful relationship fanfic. It was stupid because I died, like the main character died at the end, and I'm like, why the fuck did I do that? But
do you want to cast Joe Quinn for that? He's really good at those types of endings, apparently.
Right.
He's really good at dying.
No, Orlando didn't die, but like the chick he was like with or whatever that I was writing. But I did not write any smut because I was 13, and I knew I was like, I wrote like the band that I was into. I don't really want to say because they'll find me. I wrote fan fiction for them too. No sex scene at all. Nothing. And at that point I was 15, 16. When hormones are definitely changing and growing and shit. So I just don't think it's a good excuse to like write that such explicit stuff about a person that may see it. I mean, do you care?
I also think that,
Ick.
like, I honestly think that it's so accessible to find, like, sex out there, to be honest. Yeah. Let's just call it for what it is. And nowadays, 13, 14, and 15-year-olds know exactly what it is, what it looks like, how, and yeah, they feel like they can just write about it. And that's fine. I mean, no, it's not fine. It's not fine. But
don't write Joe. Write like a romance novel based. You can make him look like Joe in your brain. Don't make it Joe. Like that's all I have to say.
If I may add, I was gonna say, everybody goes, and I literally called them out. I was like, you Wattpad, Tumblr, AO3 people and everything like that.
Honestly, same.
What is AO3?
I don't want to talk about it. People like minors sending him photos, which I'm not saying if it's true or not. I think that's up for speculation. But I heard about this. I've seen so much. I literally just now, there's literally a girl talking about like, oh, why do you it's like the Corn Kid except switch with Corn with Eddie. And everybody's like, oh my god, this is so cringe and everything like that. I'm like, all right, this is going to be another rabbit hole that I have to get down to. I have to do so much research. And every single time that I make these videos, I'm not going about it blindly. I'm going about it with all the research that I have about all these people. And just literally just calling it how it is. And some of them are really delusional. And unfortunately, I hate to say that word, but they are. And it's really hard for them to actually get a grasp because they're so stuck in their own reality that they're in this like land where it's literally everything is like their reality, how they make that reality. When the reality of what it is that they are fucking up. And whenever somebody brings it up to them, we love this word, accountability.
Yep.
I always say that you can take accountability one of two ways. You can tuck in your tail, you can run, make yourself the victim, paint me as a bad guy. If you do paint me as a bad guy, I don't care. There's nothing crazy about that, painting me as a bad guy. If I'm telling you the stuff that you're doing is wrong and acting like a mom, which I rarely ever do, act like the cool aunt most of the time. But yeah, it's this whole entire, especially with social media. Social media is such a huge rabbit hole in general. But going through this rabbit hole for the past, 5 months?
Mm-hmm. It's been a minute.
I for Joe?
Yes.
It's August, June, July. No, May, June, July, August. It's been 4 months, if that. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. It's like it really hasn't been that long. I think it got really crazy after the second half of Stranger Things came out. So sure, May, June was a little crazy, but I think that after Volume 2 came out, things just went,
Personally, I didn't even get to Stranger Things until this year. I watched the whole entire thing, front to back, and I was like, if they had to make me choose between Bob and Eddie to choose to die, I'm sorry, it's gonna be Eddie. I love Bob so much.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
See you later.
But yeah, no, I love Bob. He's such a likable character.
It's fucking Samwise Gamgee. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I love it. Sweet, wholesome. I would love to have a beer with him. Like, for sure. I'd love to have a beer with a lot of the people.
All the hobbits.
And if I do have a beer with Joseph Quinn, I don't know how I feel about martinis and all that type of stuff. I had one. What do they mean by filthy? I'm trying to figure that out.
Why don't we tell her, Danielle?
So when you get a filthy martini, it's either vodka or gin,
Okay.
and vermouth, and then olive juice and an olive. And so
olive juice is what distinguishes between a regular martini and a dirty / filthy martini. Is the olive juice
fucking
added?
filthy martini.
Fucking filthy.
So you should try one. Don't knock it till you try it.
The
Shannon
more
and I
pressure
both
Laura
had
gets,
one.
she'll do one.
She's either getting one because we hit 1,000 streams or because Joe hands one to her himself. So she's gonna drink one either way.
That was like the see. Here was the thing. I made a mistake.
Here we go.
I made a mistake.
I said I was gonna have a martini, a fucking filthy I have to say it the way he says it.
Fucking filthy martini.
Oh, okay.
Good. Stop.
Let me take a drink of water. Whew.
Okay, one more time. Everyone silence. Everyone silence. Say it.
It's a fucking filthy martini.
Amen. Yes.
No, so I made a. So Danielle had one first, and then Shannon, and I was like, 2/3 of us have tried one. I fucking hate I hate olives. I'm not gonna do it. And so
picky eater.
I know. I made a call to action. I said, listen, if we get to 1,000 streams by the end of by the week that we release episode 2, or by the end of the week of episode 2, then I will have a filthy martini. Anyways, they were like, that's not really realistic. Make it like episode 5. We're gonna hit that very quickly. And so selfishly, I was hoping not to hit 1,000 streams, because I was like, the only other way I'll have it is if Joseph himself just says, here's your filthy martini. But that's okay. I will gladly have.
At the end of the day, Laura, you're gonna get one either way. You're gonna get one either way.
I was gonna say, I want to brush upon this really quick, because I know that Laura, you are a picky eater. Any of you guys picky eaters? I think you are.
I am not a picky eater. I just don't like olives.
I'm not. I lost my taste for scallops, but my boyfriend is convinced he can cook them so that I can like them. So I'm waiting for that. But it was like a texture thing. But otherwise, I'll try anything. I've tried frog legs. I've tried all kinds of shit.
I'm Puerto Rican. I eat blood sausage over the holidays. You know what
I love blood sausage. Send me some.
I want to brush upon this. I am definitely not a picky eater at all. I've had people wanting me to eat it was like a cow's tongue or something like that. I just ate it.
Lengua.
Yeah, so I ate it. And I was like, tender. Good shit.
Really for a muscle?
To it, can you like give me something?
Oh, so cow tongue was tender?
I think so. It's like
because it's one big muscle, so it could easily get tough. So that's really good that it was like tender.
Yeah. Have you had it, Shannon? Because I know you have Puerto Ricans around you from time to time.
Well, my boyfriend is Venezuelan.
Oh.
So we've been to Miami and had some. No, he's Venezuelan and Italian.
I thought he was Puerto Rican. That was my bad.
No, that's okay. No. So I had blood sausage. It's probably a Venezuelan version of it. We went to like a shindig in Miami and had it for the first time, and it was fucking awesome. It was delicious. But I know Germany has their own version too. So I guess it just depends on where you go. But I've had snail. I've had fish roe. I'm kind of weirded out by like chitlins and like pig's feet and shit like that because I'm from the South. But I feel like I would be maybe willing to try it if it's served and I don't see it being prepared or smell it, because apparently it stinks.
No seasoning. And I was disappointed. And I was just like, really? Come on.
Especially like a Latin plate, like they didn't even season it for you. That's weird.
is like I have so many other different cultures and everything like that to, you know, they would have me try is like these mango candies, like little sour candies with tahini and like
Yeah.
those are
Oh.
great. Fantastic.
Chamoy.
Chamoy, yes. Absolutely. The whole entire Joseph Quinn thing, I just want people to understand that how, you know, I always like this quote. It's like you got to just learn how to accept reality on reality's terms. And I've always led with that because it's like you got to bring yourself back at every single chance to where you think that you're losing yourself and, you know, going down this whole entire rabbit hole like I did, where I'm just like, I need to give myself a second. I need to give myself a second to breathe. I need to, you know, it's overwhelming, especially getting so much support. And everybody in here, you know, when you guys messaged me, I was like, I literally said, I don't, because I got invited to a couple of podcasts and I was just like, nope, I want it to be these gals. I want it to be these wonderful women that literally like the same person and everything like that could have a really good, honest conversation and just really just, you know, I was like, you guys were my first pick. I didn't want to go with anybody else because I didn't think that they were like as passionate about this situation like you guys are, and I just think it's such a huge honor in my opinion. Please don't cry because that
No, we're not.
We won't cry, but it's nice to hear it from someone that I'm freaking fly. Just to hear it like verbally that somebody gets what we're trying to portray.
Yeah.
You know, anybody can hide behind a phone screen or a computer screen.
No, I'm very honest about it.
Yeah, and to talk to somebody that just believes what we're saying just makes me feel that I'm on the right path, and I hope that Laura and Shannon feel the same way, because there's times where we're like, what are we doing? Is this what we need to do? But then we'll get comments and be like, your podcast is amazing, or your videos are helping me, and I'm like, I'm here. This is what we're supposed to be doing. So
and I'm so proud of you guys too, because it's just like it takes a lot to. I know I'm gonna get all mushy and gushy with you guys for like maybe 20 seconds, and then after that I'm just gonna go back.
Gives us a spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning. I'm just gonna switch up my personality real quick. It's so refreshing and so kind that you guys have been, because it's just so, because I'm just like, I literally was about to go in here, I'm like, I don't know how these girls are going to react to my personality. I don't understand, you know, like how I, you know, approach myself. A lot of people really think the videos that I do act, which are true, you know, I act like such a bitch, and it's just like, because I have to be. But like normally whenever I talk to people, it's really just, I appreciate how their character is and how authentically you guys are yourselves. And that gives me so much respect for you guys. And it's just like, you guys are just so yourselves, no matter what happens. You guys always have my fucking support, like 1000%. And if anybody's coming, by the way, for the people that are watching, and if y'all are coming for my girls, I'll specifically hand make a video specifically for you. Don't be goofy.
Don't be goofy.
You guys do not want to see my face whenever I make those type of videos. Trust me.
Damn.
We'll bring the heat. Y'all better watch out.
We'll unleash Sam Lewis on you. Don't be goofy. Wow, I'm so happy that this whole thing has been so great. Thank you. I mean, I can't thank you enough for coming on and doing this with us.
Yeah, of course.
Honestly,
anytime. If you guys need me on here, and if you guys for any reason, if you guys bring me on here and Joseph Quinn's on there, I'm automatically leaving. That's it. If you guys do get him on here, you're like, Sam, we have a little special guest for you. I'm like, nope. I know what you guys are doing. I'm done. Goodbye.
Just so you
Can you imagine? You just get like an email with some plane tickets, and it's like, we're actually going. We're not telling you anything, and then we just move the curtain.
You're just like, here he is. You're welcome.
And then you're like, but you're like tied to a chair, so
Yeah.
you're like, why are you tying me down?
We're just having a girls' weekend.
Well.
Ooh, spicy.
I love it.
Oh, God.
Sam, you are the absolute shit. We're so fucking happy. We're so lucky that you picked us, honestly. And I can't wait to see what you do next. And
Oh.
Like you said, we'll always have your back. You've got supporters in us.
Don't make me cry. I'm gonna
Till
smack
the
you.
end.
Don't try.
Here you go.
You'd have to drive very far to smack any of us. So
My little shitty Ford Focus. I'm just gonna Chad.
Can I share something with you, Sam?
Of course,
I
yeah.
myself also have a Ford Focus.
I didn't know that.
2007 hatchback, silver, a little bit rusted on the
Oh.
bottom. So you want to start like a car gang or something?
But yeah, thank you guys. Like literally, thank you guys so much for the opportunity to really talk more about this and everything like that in a more calmer, I guess, setting because it's normally myself yelling at my phone.
Now you
Because
have
I
three
yell.
other people to yell about it.
I feel like I abuse my phone way too much.
Do you want to plug your TikTok?
If that's okay. I mean, I didn't expect to.
Please.
Oh my god.
Please.
Yeah, my TikTok is Slippy Dippy 21, so it's SLIPPY DIPPY 21. Very funny to have peepees together. Yeah, if you guys want to, if you guys are really new to who I am and everything like that, I don't mean it with malice or anything like that. Just really have an honest conversation, dialogue with people. And I hope you guys like my aggressive attitude. So that's really all I gotta say about that. And I hope you guys listen to the videos and, if you like them, then follow. That's really it.
There you go. Sam Lewis, thebomb.com, #1, the beast. We're so excited that you came on. Off being
And we're
on.
done.
And we're done.
Off the
And
customer
scene.
service.
And scene.
I swear to God. Yeah, what's up?
You guys, that was so much fun.
Yes.
So much
Oh my
fun.
God.
I'm so in love with her. I think she's amazing. I really hope that she gets all the success in the world. She's doing so many great things, and and she had me almost tearing up there for a minute.
I know.
Like, I
She
almost
looks like
lost it.
she gets us.
We hope she'll come back. And honestly, at the very least, if we ever get, we're not going to say if, we're going to say when we get Joe
Manifest, temple
we're gonna-
frictions.
we're gonna FaceTime her because I want to see the absolute panic on her face.
It's gonna happen, and I cannot wait. I can't wait.
So again, if you didn't catch that, her TikTok account is Slippy Dippy 21. Slippy Dippy 21.
Her Instagram is the same, I believe, as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then follow her on
So
her
make
socials.
it easy on her.
Yeah. And then follow us on our socials. We had a really good Instagram week. We actually had a really good social media week in general. We've been doing a lot of marketing. We're really trying to push it. So if you guys would follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and everything, we are at the Quinn Pod or the Quinn Podcast. Please follow us. My own is Laura Vanessa with an H after Laura and an H after Vanessa. On both Instagram and TikTok. Danielle.
My Instagram is Miss Danielle, DANYELL, and then my TikTok is D Young, DEEE Young.
Shannon.
My Instagram is Starry Eyes, STARRYYEYES, and then my TikTok is What's Up, Shannon? So.
What's it?
What's up?
Come back and see us next week. This is episode 4. We're going into episode 5 next week. We're going to start conceptualizing the second half of the season. One thing real quick that I want to touch on is this. We all understand this is a hyperfixation, hyperfixations, and the way this fandom is going. It's very alive and very strong right now. We're gonna go with the first season, and then we're gonna figure out how we're gonna do season 2. If it's alive and going and people are into it, we can move it into season 2. But this is for you guys, and we are doing this also because we like to have fun with it. So there's a lot to take into consideration. We are conceptualizing the second half of our season. So if you have any ideas, let us know. Send us messages. And other than that, I think we're probably going to have one more guest speaker that we're waiting on.
So we're still, trying to figure that part out too. So if you want to be on the show, we really appreciate you. Oh, one more thing before I forget. Send your Joe meet and greet experiences to the Quinn-tessentials podcast at gmail.com. That's the Quinn-tessentials. So QUINTESSENTIALS podcast at gmail.com. It is a very long email. I'm so sorry. But we're probably going to have an episode where we talk about meet and greet experiences. So yeah, send us your experience with Joe. We'd love to hear about it and read it on the show. And other than that, I hope you have a fabulous fucking week.
Yes.
Have a banging week, you guys.
I love you both so much. I'm so
I love
thankful
you
for
guys both so much. And we love all of you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a fabulous week.
Have a fabulous.
Bye.
Boy.
Fabulous.
There it is.